Guys in the chat, let me know if you can hear me, please. I know there's like a 10 or 15-second delay or something like that, but as soon as you can hear me, just say yes or whatever in the chat. Thanks. What's up, everybody? Thanks for jumping in. We're gonna wait for Johnny to get here and get started probably right at 3 o'clock, which is in like another 8 or 9 minutes. So just hang out, chill. Poor Holder and Russell, I am making you Poor Holder I already have. Russell, I am making you guys moderators. So I can tell you in my chat, I don't care if somebody has a difference of opinion. I don't care if somebody doesn't like whatever. Anybody is entitled to express their perspective, their opinion. I don't block people. I don't time people out for that. If people are acting like assholes, then you can time them out. You can kick them, do whatever you want. But, if somebody has a difference of opinion, that's fine. They can have a difference of opinion. If someone is spamming and just, going, just basically flooding the chat with stuff, give them a warning. And if they keep doing it, time them out. Just kind of comment, pretty much the same stuff that you do in the TG, right? But some people get a little overzealous. What's happening, Johnny? Some people get a little, or Johnny's hat. Some people get a little overzealous and want to like block everybody or whatever. Like I said, I have no problem with people having a difference of opinion and expressing that. That's what my chats are for. That's what my videos are for, to have a discussion. So let that go down. Johnny, I think I hear you. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you all right.
All right, guys, let me know in the chat if you can hear Johnny. There's like a 15-second delay, Johnny. So whenever I talk to the chat or say anything, I don't expect a response for like 15 seconds. So let's make sure. Just let me know. Just somebody put Johnny in the chat if you can hear Johnny. Was that a DJ Trev hat? I don't think it was. That's going to be a problem. All right. Yes. All right, Johnny, chill out. We're going to because I told everybody we're going to start at 3. We got another 5 or 6 minutes. So I'm going to go dark for about 5 or 6 minutes, grab myself a water, and we'll get back. We'll come back and get started right at 3 o'clock. All right.
Okay.
All right, brother. Hey, everybody, make sure you tweet out the link to this live stream. Let's get the word out to the community and everybody. Let's make sure we get as many people in here as we can. Please do not forget to hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. And, just remind new people that come in, if there are people you don't recognize every once in a while, because I'm going to be chatting with Johnny. And I am going to take questions from the chat, but, after we chat with Johnny for a little bit. So just remind people coming in to make sure that everybody likes the video. That way, it, works on the algorithm and everything. And then YouTube will put it in front of some more people, you know what I mean? So, all right, appreciate it. And we'll be with you in a couple of minutes. All right, what's happening, everybody? Johnny can jump in whenever he's ready. YouTube has been kind of funny lately. So you've got an option above the chat. You might see where it says top chat. If you drop that down, it gives you an option for live chat. If you do top chat, you're not seeing every single message. If you hit live chat, you'll see every single message. Now, I also have it on subscribers chat only. So anyone who is not a subscriber, if you're listening, but you can't figure out why you can't send a message, you have to subscribe to send a message. That's the deal. So, I appreciate your subscription and hopefully you'll hang out and stay with us and maybe check out some of the other videos and stuff that I have up. I think I hear Johnny. Do I hear Johnny?
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, man? We saw a little quick flash of your hat. Are you keeping your camera off, or what are you doing?
Yeah, today I'm keeping it off.
Okay, all right. Tomorrow we'll get you on camera. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. Been
Good.
a long day, but
Yeah. A lot of work with the lunatic stuff.
yep.
Okay. All right. What's up, Pudgy? I see you. Thanks for being here, brother. Everybody introduce yourselves in the chat. All right, so we are here today talking to Johnny Diep, and Johnny is the COO of Lunatics Token. He is also our newest Community Oversight Committee member for the L1 Task Force for LUNC. And we're gonna make, it'll probably be a quick chat today, just kind of an introduction kind of thing. Give everybody an opportunity to ask some questions if you have some questions, and just, get to know Johnny a little bit. Going forward, as the two of us are both on the committee, I look forward to doing these videos a little more often, maybe bringing in Strathcole as well and Lunkburn Army, and getting some information out to you as it happens. So Johnny, I know that a lot of people right now in the chat are from Lunatics Token, and they all are very familiar with you. But for people who don't know you, or people who are watching this video later, can you just kind of tell us a little bit about your kind of crypto journey, what your experience is, and what brought you to be the COO of Lunatics Token?
Well, I guess that's been a long journey. I knew about crypto since its inception with Bitcoin. And of course, like most, I thought it was a joke. so never took much credit for it. I've only been real serious with it for the last 3 years. Um, and with Lunatics, I've known a few of the guys for almost 2 years now, and a few of them for about a year. So all together, we've known each other for at least a year.
Okay.
And my main responsibility with Lunatics is project development, tech support, and running the validator.
All right. Good. Well, all right. So you've known about crypto. That's great. But what I mean, what brought you to the point where you're running a validator now? You have the knowledge that you have. I mean, you've worked in crypto, before, where do you get your experience from?
Well, I'm all self-taught, so I started learning about crypto a couple of years ago, like the actual coding part of it, blockchain technology, and started off in the EVM chains with Solidity, and then now branching off into the Cosmos. So I just have always had an interest in tech and software and that kind of field, and it's always been a hobby. And it's just now, as we came together, you meet new people in the space, and we came together and created something.
Did you teach yourself coding?
Yeah, I've done all that on my own.
No
I didn't go
kidding.
to school for it. Yeah, kind of where I grew up and live. It's more of a rural, I don't know, I would say redneck, central Canada. So most people are learning how to build and electrical, and I was doing computer stuff on my own.
No kidding. That's impressive. I listened to and you experienced your first kind of COC meeting the other day, but I listened to them when we do these sprint planning meetings, and I listened to the guys chit-chatting about the actual coding stuff, and I have these like thoughts that I'm like, I mean, you're a smart guy, maybe you can start learning how to code right now, right? But then I'm like, at my age, I mean, how long? All right, so how long do you think it would take to learn basic coding, to just kind of basically understand enough to understand what people are talking about with blockchain stuff?
To get a good understanding, I would say if it would take at least a year.
That's it.
Yeah, a year. Not that you would be a coder and I would
Right.
make you responsible for writing code, but that you would understand the blockchain. It's not that hard to understand, as long as you won't understand every little module or every line of code, but you will understand what they're talking about and what they mean and how it operates. At
Right.
least for me, that's just who I am. I guess I've always been a troubleshooter, and a visionary. I can picture the machine operating, and with a contract, I look at it like a machine, right? And you can map it out.
Yep.
So even though I don't understand everything, I understand what it's doing.
Okay. I got
Yeah,
you.
it's I don't know, it's hard for me to explain it that way. That's why I'm pretty good with explaining to people with less experience on what's happening or why it's doing this, because I can explain it in a layman's terms.
Yep. All right. I'm noticing that Strath is in the chat right now. And Strath, thanks for being here. He says that basically it's better to kind of teach yourself than it is to be taught. Strath, in our Discord group chat, I'm sending you the link to this meeting, and if you want to jump in, I would love to have you jump in and chit chat with me and Johnny. We'll have the whole COC here. I don't know if you have the availability or time to do that right now, but I just put it there for you. Now, what did I do with it? Now I got to figure out how to get my thing back. Here it is. Anyway, all right, so awesome. All right, so like you said everything basically that you're doing for Lunatics Token right now, and how you've come to coding and kind of understanding the things that you understand. And now you are our newest member on the Community Oversight Committee. Strath says a few minutes would be possible. Absolutely, brother. Come on in. You're our newest member. Everybody on the team is glad to have you. It was kind of a weird road getting here. And we're still figuring some things out. But yeah, it's awesome to have you here. Now, the other day we had a brief little kind of powwow amongst kind of some of the team and some of the oversight committee. And you were kind of quiet at first. I think you were kind of getting your bearings, right? Trying to figure out how things go a little bit. What did you think?
Yeah, I was quiet at first because I'd rather listen and get my take on everyone. And I think it's actually good. I think what the broader lung community doesn't realize is these people in the L1 team and the COC, they really have a passion for lung, and they really are doing what they can to make it succeed. Like just listening to the guys, you can tell what they want to achieve out of this, and as long as the community supports it, I think it's going to do really well.
Yeah, I agree. Strath, can you hear us? Welcome.
Yeah, hi, good evening. For me, at least, it's quite late in the evening.
Yeah, you're like 5-6 hours ahead of me, right? So what is it, like 9 o'clock or so where you are, PM?
Yeah, 9 p.m.
9 p.m. All right. Well, thank you for jumping in. I really appreciate it. How are you doing today? How was your day?
I have kind of to catch up with a bit of real life work because, have not done much during the past weeks besides crypto, and so there's been some work that needs to be done.
Yeah, I got you. Because obviously you're still doing all the other stuff that you were doing before we ever had an L1 task force or a community oversight committee. So trying to balance all that you were always doing along with this, I would imagine that it can be kind of taxing and tiring after a while. Yeah.
Yes, but I have to say the most time intensive thing was to get used to everything, to learn Rust language for writing the contracts, to learn about the chain, to understand how it works, trying to get all the details, which I probably still don't. So I don't know everything about the blockchain, but I think I have a good understanding of the most important things, and that's why I try to keep an eye on what is happening on GitHub, what they are writing. I understand most of the code, I guess, as Johnny explained. I couldn't write it myself because I'm not a Go developer, but I understand what they are doing mostly.
Yeah. I would love to get myself to that spot where I can at least, kind of understand it a little better than I do. But, like you say, in real life stuff comes in, and at my age, I just don't know what capacity I have to start learning it now. But you think that I'm better off kind of trying to teach myself than I am learning it from somebody else, yeah?
Yes, but with learning by yourself, I don't mean that you read all the documentation of a programming language, for example. It's helpful for example, to learn smart contracts. For me, the Terra Academy was very helpful. It's a video teaching, I would say, with you can follow doing what they do in the video live. So that was very helpful. And the second thing is taking foreign code, reading it, understanding it, modifying it, first only a slight bit, and then adding your own stuff to it to see how it all works.
Yeah, that's awesome. I got to get that. Got to get a link or something from you, because I would like to start whatever time I can find, kind of more familiarizing myself with it. So there's three of us here, right? And there's three of us on the community oversight committee. And the team says that we represent basically three different pillars, if you will, of the oversight committee. And, the three pillars that were explained to me out front was community, development, and validator. And I think it's easy to see who kind of represents what, right? Strath, I want to ask you, and then Johnny, I'm going to ask you as well, because I know that you're new, so I'm interested in the perspective. Strath, in your view, the oversight committee altogether, right, as a whole, if you were to define it and kind of say what it is we're here for, right? I don't know how simple it is for you to do that, but what would you say? What would be your answer to that?
So I would say that it is not very different to what every other community member could do. Just having an eye on what is done, at the same time having an eye on the community, what the demands are, what the most pressing issues are, and trying to make sure that the L1 team is aware of it. And with that we are volunteering, we have the, I would say, privilege to be able to take part in some meetings, which means that we have direct information and also can give direct feedback or ask questions, which is something that the average community member is currently not able to, because it would create kind of a mess when the L1 team would have to deal with that much input or questions.
Right.
So to summarize it, I think it's just a community member that pays attention to what is done and tries to keep the L1 team in the know if they are in line with what the community wants, and if something goes wrong, make them aware of it, and in worst case, act like kind of a whistleblower.
Exactly. I think a lot of people, well, because let's be honest, there was no absolute clear definition given to us, never mind to the community, right? We spent a little time at first trying to figure out exactly what it was supposed to be. But I think a lot of people still really don't understand that the oversight committee doesn't have, as PFC put it back then, we don't really have the kind of teeth that maybe some people expected us to have. It is not our place to tell the development team what to do or how to do it or stop them from doing anything. We're there for the verbal interaction, for feedback, right? Or even from getting information for them and relaying that, as you said, to the community. But, when certain things come up, it's not up to us to say, no, stop, don't do that. In one time we had talked about like a building inspector, how a building inspector can come in, and if things aren't up to code, they can put a halt on everything. That's not our place. That's not really where we are. Although there is a whistleblower aspect of it, like you said, where if we really saw something that was just screwy, it kind of is incumbent upon us to say, hey, this is what we're seeing going on, and let the community kind of decide how they feel about it. Would you agree with any of that? Or?
Yeah, I think Steve has put it in some good term, like election observers. They also have no say in what is really happening, but they can make suggestions, raise concerns, and tell people what is going on.
Right. Yeah. Johnny, coming in, first off, let me ask you this. Let me start here. What made you, like, what was it that pushed you? Like, what made you say, you know what? I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm gonna try for this oversight committee. I think that nobody, even including you guys, really, well, I can't say that because some people actually said we absolutely expected them to actually get the position. But I know, talking to you guys, I don't know that everybody really expected that you were going to get the position. But what was the deciding factor? Like, what really made you say, we're going to give it a shot anyway? What was the motivation?
Well, we talked to the team after the position came up and asked ourselves if we wanted to do this, because we knew there could be backlash too, just like the drama is around. But at the same time, we just have a no nonsense, no drama approach to things. And I feel it was good for lunatics to represent. Plus, we represent a different part of the whole Loon community, because our users and the people that come to us for questions, our Twitter, everything, it seems like it's a different faction, or so to speak, like from a different demographic or whatever. And so we represent them. And just there's so much drama. It's just time for grown-ups to be involved and do this no nonsense way. Like, what I think the COC is kind of is a medium between the L1 and the community. People, when we post updates, that's directly coming from the L1. So there's no mix-ups or whatever. And just like if the community has big concerns that we see, we let them know, the L1 team know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's just how I feel it should be. But
And you felt that, I guess that was something that you wanted to take on, yeah, that you'd be able to kind of fill that role.
yeah, and we have no affiliation with any group inside the inner lung community. So we'll call it as we see it. If the L1 team was behaving in a dishonest way, I would have no problem telling the whole community.
Yeah.
Because that's our responsibility. Yeah, I just feel like we give an unbiased representation.
Yeah, I hear you. So now, again, going back to the kind of the pillars, Strath is able to kind of take a peek at some of the coding stuff, and when they talk about different updates and kind of the direction that they're going in, what they're trying to accomplish, Strath is there to listen to all that stuff. He gets it, he understands it, and is able to kind of offer feedback as far as that goes. For me, this is what I do. I bring information to the community. I have you guys on. I talk about what's actually been going on. I get feedback from the community, kind of bring it to them, which we all kind of do in our own way. If you were to, and again, we haven't really gotten deep into it yet, but on, your initial thoughts, if you were to kind of like create your position, kind of representing the validator pillar, what is it that you're going to be looking for, and what is it that you want to bring to the rest of the validators, delegators? Have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I think I would also be just an add-on to what Strath does too, because you need more eyes. Like, the more people talk about, because it's to do with proposals and everything, like getting perspectives on the coding, because a lot of people are putting proposals that don't have an understanding and they don't realize they're not even realistic, and then they vote yes and they think this stuff is going to happen. And with the validators too, making sure the validators, like right now is a really important update coming up, and we need a majority of the validators to update. If they don't, it doesn't work. It's a bad thing. So to make sure that's communicate with the validators, and if they have any concerns or if they have any need any help, they can direct their questions to one of us and we can get them the help they need. So I guess, yeah, I would probably focus a lot on the proposals that get put up, and the validator updates, and also with code updates too. I would put them out. I have an understanding of them.
Good. That's awesome. Strath, I don't want to get too far out into the weeds. I do not want to dive crazy into all of the FUD and different things like that. So, I'll let you go as deep as you want to go with answering this question. Speaking, Johnny just brings up the update, the 1.0.5, and then 0.6 is coming shortly behind it. And there's been a little push by a handful of people to kind of discredit it, and maybe get validators to not update, to adopt it. Can you explain to everybody what are the risks behind that, behind not adopting it? And also, is there anything legitimate there? Is there any legitimate reason why people shouldn't implement the update?
Yes, it's not my profession to be that deep in the L1 code, but from what I am aware of and what I think, the main issue that is raised is that the 105 contains the enabling of upgrade handlers. And normally this is done when the Genesis is created. And as we need those upgrade handlers for further upgrades, we currently have the issue that we have to enable them without creating a new Genesis, because our chain is currently too big to do so. And that means we probably are doing something that has not been done in this way. And that is something that I think is concerning some people. But I, for myself, trust the judgment of Ed, of Iron Man, who did it and who reviewed it to check for what it would cause. But to make clear why we need this 105 upgrade handlers that are in this release, we need it for different reasons. A further concern that was raised is some potential issue in a library. So part of the code that is used by the chain, especially for the IBC's channels, that needs some updating. But this updating is special in this case, as it needs to be done by all validators at the same block height. And currently, when we do upgrades, we do it differently. We just roll out the update and every validator can install it up to a certain block height, where a state breaking change comes into effect. That means there is a time frame of maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or whatever that validators can upgrade. But with some changes, this is different, as they have some mechanics in it that need to be done on the same block for every validator to not risk inconsistencies in the chain. And that means we need software upgrade proposals. So proposals that, when they come into effect, automatically cause a small chain halt, not a bad one, just one that makes sure every validator gets the same code at the same block height. And that is only possible with the upgrade handlers. We currently can't do this. And there lies the issue. If we don't do the upgrade handlers, from what I know, as said, I cannot be 100% sure about that, because that is the profession of the L1 team. But from what I am aware of, we have to do this to be able to make further upgrades along the line, to not wiping all the contract data for preparing for code parity with V2, and for making some library updates that need special handling. So that's the issue, why we badly need upgrade handlers and why it needs to be done in 105 if we want to release 106 with some library updates and such things.
Yeah. And it, I mean, it really does come down to a matter of trust, right? And you know, who's kind of earned that trust, who's kind of got a track record of being kind of legit with the community and doing, you know, some of the work that has brought us here. And I think that the reason that the L1 task force received such an overwhelming mandate with the vote to fund them and to, you know, set them off on Q1 doing their thing is because, you know, they earned that already, right? A long time ago. So, you know, the people that are all of a sudden trying to get people to not trust them, I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. Do we know how many of the validators have already implemented the upgrade and or how many are left to do it? Either one of you.
I am not sure exact total, but in the Terra Validator Discord, Ed has a post up tracking which validators have all done it. So he is keeping track, and they aren't going to push, obviously, the 1.05 if there's not 67% updated, because it would cause a chain break, right?
Right.
So but validators and the community need to know, without doing 1.05, we can't do 1.06. And 1.06 is supported by Binance because I believe 1.06 has the whitelisted wallet.
It has the whitelist, yeah.
If we don't do that, we don't get Binance burns. Like, we're just delaying any chain updates. Like, we're going backwards instead of forwards. The only other way besides this 1.05 is, I think, nuking the chain and starting fresh. And that's an even bigger issue. Like, that means all contracts gone, everything.
Yeah, right. Nobody wants to do that. All right.
I think it's 71% currently from the list that was published, I think.
I'm sorry, did you say 71% have already implemented it?
I think so, as far as I'm aware from the list that was published, yeah.
All right, so it appears we're in the clear as far as, you know, not being in risk of any halting or anything like that. So that's good to know. All right, awesome. I appreciate that. Johnny, you guys implemented it right away, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, do you feel like I don't know, what are you going to do as far as like reaching out to the other validators, and I don't know about uniting everybody or whatever, but do you feel like you're in a position now where you can kind of reach out to everybody, or that you should reach out to everybody? And, you know, I don't know, kind of coalesce a little bit on these updates and such. I mean, I don't know that you're in that kind of leadership role, but what do you think your responsibilities are there? Like, what do you feel?
No, I should reach directly out to them. I put it publicly for I think, because I'm part of the community oversight committee, I need to let the public know what it is about.
Yeah.
And I can even talk about the concerns and the L1's response to that as we get that. But the validators are all updated. Ed, I think Ed runs that validator Discord, or somebody does, but Ed's in their lot and always posted. So if you are running a validator, you're supposed to be responsible too. And I can even put that Discord link in my Twitter and tweet that too, to make sure that any new validators go there. But if they've spun up a node, they've probably been in there because there's a lot of help.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that comes back to another issue, but I don't want to get into the politics of that, why it's not always so safe just everybody running a node in their basement, because if they're not going to take the effort to educate themselves on what they need to do.
Right. We kind of are going to get into it a little bit, but first I just want to acknowledge in the chat, Saint is here. Timor from Exodus Our Universe. Thanks for joining us. I see 17 Dog. Richie's Plain Talk. Richie says that's a strong statement about letting the community know if L1 is drifting. Richie, that's why we're all here. It's exactly what we're supposed to be doing, and it's almost weird that it was the L1 team who put that in place, right? It was almost like, listen, we want to, I don't think that they ever felt like they were going to stray, but just so that everybody understood that they have absolutely no intention of doing it, they put this oversight committee in place, and they did pick people that they knew would call them out on their shit if that's what they, if there was any shit to call them out on. Contrary to what anybody else might believe, that's the absolute fact. So it might be a bold statement, but he's exactly right. That's what we're supposed to do. And I think any one of us would do it. Ryan says, cheers, Trev, and chat. Hope all is well. Congratulations, Johnny, on your new role on the oversight committee. Texas, thank you, Trev. I appreciate it. Pudgy's here. What's up, guys? All right, cool. Strath is still in the chat. All right, very briefly. So I think that there were some tweets. I'll tell you, I was busy today. I've got a vacant apartment. It needs flooring. It needs windows, right? So I've been busy all day running around doing things. I haven't had an opportunity to really dive in on Twitter to some of the headlines that I saw. But I think I saw some things come out today by All Nodes, speaking to, keys and validators and stuff like that. Are either one of you guys up on what kind of happened today that you can tell me about and tell the rest of the community about?
I personally didn't see their tweet today. The last one from yesterday or whatever, the one with the voting percentage breakdown, I haven't actually looked. I've been so busy this morning.
Strath, did you catch any of that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna have to go and take a peek at it. And again, without going into the weeds, right? I know that both of you guys, because I've seen tweets and I've heard you talk about it. Both of you guys have some very distinct feelings on All Nodes as a provider and all the rest of that. And there's been some question about maybe some security things or whatever. Do you guys want to just lightly kind of chat about that and kind of give your perspective?
No.
Sure.
It's to me, I trust
really difficult.
No,
Johnny, why don't you go ahead and then we'll get to Strath.
Okay, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you fine, sure.
Okay, well, All Nodes as a business entity, I trust them. I think they will do right to their customers. You sign agreements and so on. That this was brought up as an issue, of course it's an issue, and if it was never brought up, maybe we would have not paid attention, and it could have got out of hand, where they were hosting 70% of the validators, and that would be a real big issue. Now that it was brought, I didn't think it needed to be gaslight like it was, but All Nodes is doing what they can. It's not going to happen overnight, and they're taking every step they can, and I think we'll be better for it in the future. I don't agree that every node should be one individual in a basement on a residential service. I think it's good to have a mixture of both professional, corporate nodes, individual nodes, small project nodes, stuff like that, to give a balance, stability to the chain.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. I think they are doing their part in reducing their overall percentage of validators hosted, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah. brief and concise. Strath, would you pretty much agree with that?
Yeah, pretty much. But I think what we have to be aware of that it's not, if you want to do your own validator node that you fully control, then it's not very easy to decide which way you want to go, because it is not enough to know how you set up a server and install the software. You need to secure it. You need to secure it by further node or even further nodes in front of it to make it not publicly accessible, which would be a risk of DOS attacks on the validator.
Okay.
And at the same time, there are so many providers that offer different hosting services, I mean cloud services, dedicated servers. But there are also a few of those that are already very, very widely used, like OVH in France, I think. They host a lot of crypto nodes. I think they have over 5% of the Ethereum nodes already. And Hetzner in Germany, they host, I think the last number that I know of was based on Ethereum, around 12 to 16% of all Ethereum nodes. And their policy even forbids running anything crypto related, which means they can shut down all crypto nodes at any time because they originally never were allowed to be spun up. And that's the issue. There is so many research you have to do to choose the right services, to choose the right way to do it. And if you only want to do it on one chain and not want to use a service provider like Allnodes, you will most likely have problems to run break even, at least in the current validator set. So what I heard was, okay, then you need to go to other chains and make profit there. But that implies that anyone that is not a full-time validator should not do it. And I would not agree to it, because you can run a validator because you want to, for example, generate income for a project validator, or you need it for some community support.
Right.
So it's a very difficult topic. I voiced many times that I do not agree with the way it was brought up. And yeah, I think we have to see how it evolves during the next days and weeks.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, just
Go ahead.
I would like to go a little bit more on that too. Like, how are we going to prove that these individuals running validators are secure and it is safe for their delegators? Like, just because you run it and you're the only one with the keys, how does anyone know you actually know what you're doing and your server is safe? And then there's like us individuals looking at it, with our 10 million, 100 million long delegated, it's one thing, but there is people or businesses that stake billions for their business. Like, that's their income they stake on all chains. They're not going to choose just some random person to delegate to because they want to choose someone they know and trust, that's running the right infrastructure and safe, and that's where they'll delegate. So I think you need that balance where somebody new can get into it, run a validator, maybe expand and decide, hey, I want to do this on all chains, and start expanding and getting better equipment. But you can't just limit it to one section.
Yeah, and I have to add to that, because there's all around there is the claim of trustlessness, because crypto needs to not rely on any trust. But imagine the claim that all nodes either should release the client list, or all validators that host on all nodes should come forward and say, yeah, we use them as VAAS, so validator as a service. That, in my opinion, would mean that each validator in the whole set would have to disclose exactly which hardware, which software, which versions, which infrastructure they are running on. And I think that full trustlessness is something that is taken too far, because it is nothing that can ever be reached, and is it's I don't know how to say, but it's a kind of focus on one entity due to the high voting power they currently have, which can lead to an issue, which is no immediate risk, but it can grow to a risk, of course. And keeping aside all the other things that could make it worse.
Yeah. Lulian said something about you can secure your node with a WAF, not an acronym I'm familiar with. What is he talking about?
Web application firewall, like Cloudflare is often offering, for example.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. I got to get my thing running here. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I guess you could use a WAF or Sentry nodes, but that again, you're as a delegator, you're assuming the person that spun up their personal node can do all this themselves, right? Or has done it. We don't know if they have.
I think that we do, I hate to say it, I think that we do have a lot of people out there who are validators, who have nodes. I don't know if it's in the garage basement or where it is, but some people are up on it, on the technology and knowing exactly what they're doing. Some more so than others. Others require a lot more aid and a lot more help. And if you're trying to do it by yourself and you're not really sure what you're doing, I don't know, that feels dangerous to me. You have a company like All Nodes who will really kind of do a lot of it for you. They're secure. They've been around for a long time. They were around before the DPEG. They didn't have the voting power that they have right now. I understand that. But even then, they were really sticking up for the community, went against Do Kwon when he wanted to fork, and stood with the community. They have a track record of, kind of doing the right thing. And if there's no, what is the imminent threat? I've been waiting for someone to tell me exactly what the imminent threat is. This could happen, or that could happen. Okay, that's fine. But what is the likelihood of it actually happening? I don't see it. If there was some information that, this is looking shady or this is looking wrong, I might see, where it was more of an imminent threat, but I haven't seen that. And now they're taking steps to try to make things even more secure, and kind of respond to some of the criticism that's come out. So again, and I understand, listen, anything I say or anything that these guys say is our perspective, a matter of our opinion. I understand that there are other perspectives and other opinions. I'm not trying to negate them in any way. I'm just saying that there are, I guess, a few different ways to look at it. And maybe the way it's been handled and kind of really screamed about, it feels a little off-putting, and I don't know how that really helps us, Just
you have to.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
Hold on, Johnny.
Oh,
Go ahead,
sorry,
Strath.
go on.
No, go ahead, Strath.
Okay. I think you have to view it from three separate perspectives: the security of the chain, the security of the individual validator, and the security of the delegators. because from what I think, what is currently the only focus is the chain security by all those claims. It isn't really about, in my opinion, it's not really about the individual validator, and also not about the delegators, because let's say you have an insecure node, the worst that can happen is that is brought down or jailed or slashed, is double signing or whatever. That would be the worst for the delegators. So they would lose part of their funds. But it's always something you have to make clear. Validators cannot steal the funds of delegators. That's impossible, even if a node is fully compromised. Right. They only can lead to slashing. And from the perspective of the validator, the risk is if a node is hacked or brought down, they also lose some of their values. But the one with access to the node can simply do anything with it, like changing settings, like commission or withdrawing validator rewards and sending them to any wallet. It's like having access to the funds in the wallet and the settings for the validator. And the third thing is the chain itself. And there it is all about voting power. That means if 30 individual validators are brought down that have below 1% voting power, the chain doesn't really care. If it is one validator with 34% voting power, then the chain halts. So that is what all those claims were referring to in a way, because most of them were based on the assumption or the obviously wrong fact that all nodes had above those 33.3% voting power combined with all their clients. And so that would have been an immediate risk if they really had that amount of voting power. But that's why I said, for me, it was an issue how it was brought up, because that claim never has been proven. And so, yeah, it all was based on something unfactual.
Right. Just real quick, Johnny, Richie, Richie's Plain Talk. I see that super chat. You're amazing, my friend, and I will get to your comment in a second. I do want to give Johnny a chance to kind of jump in and say what he was going to say. But everybody in the chat, first off, if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. Matthew Perry, I also see that you jumped in. Thank you for joining us. And go and follow Richie's Plain Talk, because he's got his own little channel now, and he's putting out some pretty good content. Johnny, what were you going to say about it?
Yeah, it was a little bit like what Strass said about if all nodes had 34% total, but that would also mean that all of the nodes hosted by all nodes would have to go down at the same time.
Right.
And that would mean they're all hosted on the same server or same location, and there is multiple nodes hosted per a shared unit, but there's also separate. So there's no way all 30% that they have, now it's 30%, would go down at once unless they closed up shop. Well, if you look at all nodes, you look at their site, they're validators across every chain out there. They're a staking provider for every chain. It's their business. I don't think they're closing shop anytime soon. Like, I just don't. I do agree that their 18% voting power at the time was too much, and it's already come down to 16, but that is up to the delegators. Like, you can't put a gun to all nodes' head if their delegators aren't redelegating.
Yeah.
That's the communities has to do that.
Yeah, I noticed that too. They went up to 10% on their commissions, right? And you still don't see like everybody like bailing and jumping out of there. So it really does speak a lot to the trust that they've earned, that they've built over time. All right, so Richie, again, thank you for that $100 super chat. He says, I can't speak for all here, but I feel safer with y'all in these positions and taking it so seriously, even though Trev sounds like Zarada sometimes. I'm not sure what that means, but okay, I appreciate that. Russ, thanks for being here. Kenneth says, how's everybody doing? Hey, Matt. Okay. Guys, so I don't want this to go on too long. So if everybody that's in the chat right now, if you guys have any questions for Johnny, for Strath, keeping in mind that it's coming up on 10 o'clock at night for Strath and he needs to get to bed, why don't you go ahead and start asking them, and we'll get a couple questions answered, and then we're going to wrap this up. But again, we'll do this periodically, every once in a while. Hold on one second. Oh, okay. I thought I saw something, but that's fine. All right, Strath, before the questions come in, was there anything that you wanted to cover or anything you wanted to go over before we kind of start winding this down?
Not really. I didn't even plan to be here, so
yeah, I figured.
I haven't prepared.
All right, no worries. Next time. Johnny, anything that you wanted to kind of say to the community who's basically still wondering kind of maybe who you are and what exactly your effect on this COC is going to be? Anything you wanted to say to everybody?
Well, I'm not sure what my effect will be. I'm hoping that I can bring, just like I said, a no drama, no nonsense, factual updates to the community. I just would like to tell the community and the lung community delegators to inquire with their validators if they've updated their node. It is important, and if they haven't, to seek out whatever assistance they need. And if they have, to make sure that they let Ed know in that validator Discord. This is an important update, and I think delegators, they can ask that of their validators as well.
Right. Okay, cool. I don't see a whole hell of a lot of questions coming in, a lot of thank yous, a lot of hellos. Richie did ask, how did all nodes get so big in the first place? Do you mean how did they get so to where they are right now? Because if I kind of read it correctly, and I wasn't involved in Luna before the depegging, they have a lot more voting power and stuff that they on the chain now than they did with Terra Luna. Is that right? Do either of you guys know?
Yes.
Yeah, the process is quite easy to explain.
Okay.
All Nodes was a well-known company when staking was re-enabled and there were no new validators allowed to join. So that meant delegators had to stick with those in the list. That is the first one. All Nodes was known at that time. So were others, but All Nodes put up a 0% commission at that time. And that, of course, attracted so many delegations, same as I think LinkDAO and All Nodes had reached the 20% limit in the beginning. And it only distributed slowly, and All Nodes had the 0% commission up for a while. And when they raised to 5%, they didn't lose very much of it. It might be related to that they burned the 5% until end of December 22.
Yeah.
But I think it's also about their standing in the community. And so that means that's how they got the voting power they had and still have in the first place.
Okay. Yeah. So hopefully that explains it for you, Richie. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna let these guys go. Again, I didn't want this to be too long. And I really appreciate Strath, you kind of jumping in last minute, like he just said. He didn't plan this. He was in the chat. I invited him. He was nice enough to come in. Johnny, an official welcome to you in front of the whole community. I'm personally glad to have you here. I think the whole team has pretty much expressed the same. You're obviously knowledgeable, and I think that you're going to be a great asset. And I look forward to the three of us kind of working together and kind of doing our thing. All right, let me see. Markimus, won't validators get jailed if they don't update? And those staking, I'm sure you meant with them, don't earn rewards, so people will move away from them. Then it is a self-fixing problem. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, they will get jailed, and people's delegations will end up being undelegated and they won't get rewards. But if a majority percentage didn't update, it would cause a problem for the chain. But as Strath was saying, he believes it was at 71% updating already.
Yeah.
So we may not have an issue.
Yeah. Well, once we get there, right? Once we're past the 67%, the other validators who have not yet adopted the code, if I understand this correctly, they've got until a certain block height or whatever to do it, or else they will get jailed. Isn't that how that works?
Yeah, and then if they don't fix that and send a request to unjail, they'll get slashed, I believe, and then anyone delegated with them will lose funds. So that's why delegators have to be active and get on their validators case as well. It's two-way street.
Yeah, you should absolutely maintain some sort of communication with your validator. Now, when he says if they get slashed, you'll lose some funds, you don't lose all of your funds. But if your validator, the validator that you're delegated to gets slashed, you do actually end up, I don't know if it's a certain percentage, but you do end up actually losing some of what you have delegated. So it behooves you to stay on these guys and make sure that they're doing the right thing. And me personally, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, if I've got to stay on my validator to make sure that I don't lose my funds, I'm probably looking for a new validator. That's just me. All right. Richie, thank you for being a member for 4 months. I really appreciate you. I appreciate everybody, all of my mods, Pudgy, Richie, Ryan, my new mods that just came in. Lulian says, big one. After CosmWasm upgrade, what to do if DEX don't want to upgrade their smart contracts? Strath?
I think that is not related to 105 or 106. It's related to the WASM upgrade from
CosmWasm, yeah.
0.16 to 1.2. And yeah, they simply won't work anymore. So if they don't upgrade their contracts, they won't work. You cannot interact with them. So if they want to continue business after the WASM upgrade, they have to upgrade their contracts.
Okay. He says already TerraSwap has deprecated functions that don't work properly anymore. TerraSwap being, is that the TCV thing?
No.
No.
What is
TerraSwap is disabled.
Oh, yeah, I know. All right, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm having a blank. Go ahead.
Yeah, TFM works, and the TCV is Terraport thing. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with TerraSwap.
Yeah, it wasn't even, it's not functional yet, right?
No, from when the station upgrade happened, TerraSwap hasn't been working.
Yeah, okay. So I'm not
sure.
Yeah,
but still on mobile station, I think it's TerraSwap that is working when you swap rewards or something.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't used it on mobile. I just on desktop it doesn't work, so I use TFM if I want to swap USCC to LUNC or whatever.
You can on desktop use the mobile version. So mobile.station to get the old version that is currently still online.
Okay, awesome. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for this. Thank you for your time. I'm going to let everyone go. And I look forward to doing this again soon. Again, thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you for the super chat, Richie. I really appreciate it. Thanks to all the mods and everybody for coming in and being very civil and you know, asking the questions and such. And I look forward to talking to everybody again soon. All right, but I'm going to let you go. Have a great night.
You too.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Good night.